Good
Kapow!
morning.
Good morning.
Can we make it?
I hope so.
Oh my gosh, it's 7:01.
I made us late again, Joe.
We ma-
My bad.
Actually, I don't think that was you.
Okay.
This one was my fault, I think. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Double Cup of Joe show. I am your host, Joe.
And I am your other host, Joe.
Yes. And it's a great day to be a Joe because it's Free for All Friday.
Free for All Friday.
And you can be a Joe too.
I can't?
Yes, you can.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So, at any rate, what's today? Today's Free for All Friday. We have in the description what's in a name
What's in a name?
because our topic comes from the Double Cup of Joe show on bss.studio, which is right here. Jeff. Jeff's already done the three-step process. Look at that. He is like on the ball. Man, he's so good.
It says we can just
Looking
move
for
on, so I guess we
he's
just go to it.
He's thankful for progress on projects. He's looking forward to progress on projects. He's going to work on projects. Oh, good job. So anyway, this is a show we're going to talk about on Fridays. We talk about whatever you want us to talk about. So there's the link in the chat, and it's also in the description. You can click on it, and then you can submit a topic that you would like us to talk about on Fridays. Because you can try and stump us. You can try and make us shiver in our boots, and you can try. Nothing's off limits so far. We
This
haven't
one.
gotten anything. I do have to throw in that little disclaimer because I guess it's possible that somebody might submit something that we'd be like, well, I don't know. That might not be a good one to do.
Yes.
So we'll see.
We're even willing to get demonetized for some topics.
We are. We are. Totally. Yeah. Because we're totally monetized already.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you, Joseph Kennedy. Glad to see you're back. I'm glad that it's working. You can see our faces. That's that.
Faces.
In that case, maybe I'm sorry for you. You can see our
Oof. Oof.
faces. At least mine. You know, to look at Joe's face, heavenly, especially that one.
I don't know what you're looking at. Oh, mirror. In a mirror. He's looking in a mirror.
Oh. He said that too soon. He's like, nope, no, I can't see your faces anymore. Phew. I'm better. Look, I'm better looking on audio. I have learned that fact. So,
That old adage. You got a
yes,
face fit for radio.
I do, man. And here I am on YouTube. So, at any rate, here we are. We are going to start today with our three-step process like we start every day. He's going to copy my hand motions, I think. We're going to do it. We're going to do like a cheer.
I can't do the jumping thing because I'm actually not standing.
Yeah, you're sitting.
It's much harder.
I can
It's a
I
much
can
more
sit.
core workout.
I can sit too.
Oh, look, the head.
So we're going to do a show
The
now.
floating head. All right, freestyle.
Yeah, but how many times can we derail before we even get started? That'd be great. Um, yeah. So our three-step process. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you going to do today to move your life forward? It's really simple. It's really easy, but it's so effective. You would not even believe it how effective this three-step process is. So, to start off, what are you thankful for? And feel free to post in the chat. Jeff has already done so. he moved us along in very quick fashion, but he didn't give me time to ask Joe. And so I gotta ask, Joe, what are you thankful for today?
What am I thankful for?
Yeah.
I suppose I can say that I'm thankful for us making it past the original due date of tax season, which was Wednesday.
Hey,
So we have officially crossed the barrier, the threshold, the whatever else you want to call it. We're now into the home stretch.
hmm, home stretch of the last 3 months.
Yes, of the last 3 months of what?
Tax season.
Oh yeah.
Because don't we got 3 more months of it now?
Yes, we do.
Okay. It's the home stretch.
It's like the government saw its shadow and decided that we were going to have 3 more months of tax season.
That's great. But it didn't happen in February like Groundhog Day.
Nope.
People around the world might not know the Groundhog Day concept.
Oh, it's true.
Is it?
You're right. Probably. Most people probably don't take seasonal weather advice from a rodent in Pennsylvania,
In
but
Pennsylvania.
maybe.
Jeff does. Jeff's from Pennsylvania, so he knows. Like, man, Puxatawney Phil is like the thing out there. But no, hey, that's cool. So you're thankful that it's tax season?
Yeah, I suppose.
Good, because it is, and you can't really change it. So
Yep,
I guess it's a good thing to be thankful for the current condition.
yep. I
And you know what? You've got stuff to do that way, right?
Yes, I'm still gainfully employed.
You're
So
not going to be bored.
I think I have enough outside of work that I could not be bored for a long time anyway. Although we can't buy paint, so I can't paint my house.
Ah, right.
But I have some downstairs, so that's okay.
Oh, perfect. You stocked up. You stocked up on paint before the lockdown. Yes, that's good. Rocca's thankful that he hasn't completely ruined his life yet. That's good. Which brings us to step number 2. What are you looking forward to? So what are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to a meeting this weekend and going over our project codenamed Chocolate Iguana.
Chocolate iguana.
I'm
Yes.
gonna use that until the end of time.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate iguana.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
But yes, I'm looking forward to, as Jeff said, working on projects.
Yeah. Yes, you do, Rocca. You do want whatever that is. I want whatever that is.
This is this is actually came from a discussion I had on why chocolate bunnies were just too much of a thing for Easter.
So is the chocolate iguana?
Yeah, chocolate iguana.
All right.
It's acquiring the chocolate.
Nice. You're gonna get it.
Oh no.
Oh man. So he's already moved to step 3. We should do that too. Step 3. What are you gonna do today to move your life forward? Joe, what are you gonna do today? Because well, your meeting for the chocolate iguana is not till tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you gonna do today in the meantime before you can have said meeting about the chocolate iguana?
Wow, I see, Joe. This is where I got you because my thing I'm gonna do today is what I'm thankful for, which is there's taxes and stuff to do. So I'm
Oh.
still gonna do that, but I'm also gonna spend some time today working on my writing skills,
Hey,
which affect a number
nice.
of projects that I'm working on. So
Nice. Nice, nice. I'm looking forward to reading it.
me too.
That's something I'm looking forward to. So that's a three-step process. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And then what will you do today to move your life forward? And it's simple yet effective and powerful and amazing. And it's fun to see you guys all participating in the chat. I always love it when the three things are the same thing. I'm thankful for music. I'm looking forward to music. I'm gonna do music. It's gonna be awesome. So, but anyway, you guys, if if you do that every day, it'll change your life. I promise. Especially when you're doing that kind of thing, when you got eye things going on. You got to do that.
When you're still asleep and awake at the same time.
Oh, yeah. That's the perfect time to do it because then you're kinda in this dreamy state of mind and you're kinda in this like, "Whoa," like, it's everything is surreal, and it's the perfect time to send the topic over to Joe when he's still half asleep. You could be like, "Hey, you get to talk about our topic, which is what's in a name? How what we have." Okay, I should read the topic actually.
Brilliant.
Here's a link to the specific topic by Dr. Bright. The hell's about? You can read along. You can read along while I read it. It's pretty short, but hey, it says this is from Dr. Bright. It's called "Pretty Sweet Names." As a fellow Joe, I think this would be a pretty good topic for Double Cup of Joe. So on Don't Fret Friday, we were talking about cool names like CDVNL and a single duel, and yeah, I think that'd be a cool topic. So we're going to talk about cool names, coming up with them, how we came up with them. All of you guys, you guys all have names for your avatars. Raka, I think you gave us the reason for yours yesterday when I announced this. But I'd like to see it again. I think it'd be cool because I don't remember it. It's been a lot has happened since then. Um, there've been many discussions had and many decisions made, and most of yesterday is a blur. Um, so, yeah, if you have reasons for the name that you chose for your avatar on YouTube, because I see so many cool ones, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Discord, on BSS.studio, all these names that you guys have come up with for yourselves, which is awesome. And oh, plagiarism. Nice. You saw a cool name and grabbed it, huh? Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna turn over to Joe. What is in a name for you? And how do you come up with stuff?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I'm gonna make this two parts because I think it's important to broach the topic of like your actual name, the name that you were given by your parents.
All right.
And this comes from a place of, I talk with my wife on a regular basis, and
Mhm.
sometimes the topic that comes up is kids. We don't have any. But, like, what are we gonna name kids if we have them? What what are the names that are you know things that we can uh, name our children? And really, the topic that comes up is the same topic that comes up when you talk about your screen name, when you talk about your username. It's what what is what does your name mean? Where does it come from? And so I know that Joseph generally has generally been used historically um, for it's a modification in English of, I believe, the Hebrew, which means the Lord will increase, which is a really cool name. Um, and one of the reasons I would use it. However, that is not the reason my parents named me that.
Hmm.
It could have also been the fact that my father's father's name was Joseph. That's not the reason they named me Joseph either. The actual reason they ended up naming me Joseph was after a hockey player one of my mom's nieces liked.
Hmm.
That,
Hey, got to be coming from somewhere, though. Hey.
yeah, and and that just kind of goes to show you there are a number of ways that your name that you put on your tests or on your driver's license or anything else has a story behind it. And if nothing else from today, it would be a great time to go ahead and ask either your parents or whoever, well, where did my name come from? What does it mean? Why do I have it? Because I think there's a cool story behind that that you might not even know. Anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it back to Joe, who really likes screen names.
I do.
Or maybe he likes his own name. He wants to talk about that too. That's fine.
Uh, Joe, yeah. Refer back to what Joe just said about the name Joe. And I'm not sure the purpose for my name, like the why my parents picked that. I do know that when we were naming our kids, my wife and I, my wife has this affinity for cool names, and so I just let her run with it because I was like, hey, you do this excellently, so I'm gonna just let you, you know, pick them, and I will agree to them. Basically, was how that worked. And yeah, and she's always been so good at coming up with names. Um, I have always been terrible at it, and like because I've been in numerous bands, and that was always the hardest part of being in a band. Like we could write songs all day long, but to name the band, ah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like that is super hard. Like we've done all kinds of stuff. So okay, so for instance, you look at the name CDVNL, right? You're like, what does it mean? Like it doesn't mean anything because we came up with it like because I was trying to come up with an artist name and I was trying to make it like unique so it would stand out, right? And because my name is Joe Anderson. A zillion people are named Joe Anderson. Like there were multiple Joe Andersons in my school when I was at my school.
Oof.
And it's like, okay, so we had there were two Joe Andersons on the swim team at my school. And there's only like 20 people on the swim team, right? Like,
Oof.
and two of us were named Joe Anderson. And so like there we had to use our middle initials and all that stuff, right? So I was like, okay, we gotta have something different than Joe Anderson as an artist name. And so we're coming up with stuff at BSS and I'm like, I don't know, I'm just like throwing stuff out there, and like, oh, static, almost a heart, but not quite. It looks like an ice cream cone. um so for CDVNL, what we did was we had Jesse, he's our IT guy. We were like, hey, write a script, put all the letters of the alphabet in there, and have it randomly pick five. And that was the first one that came up, and we were like, hey, that looks good. Let's use it. So that was the decider. Like, whoa. And then a single duel came about because Steve Nichols, another guy at BSS, and we've been working on music together for years, and it's just always been us two, working on stuff. Very rarely do we have other people playing along with us. It's like, but because we both know multiple instruments, we can kind of fill in the gaps for everything. And so we're like, so at some point he just said it. He just said single duel or something like that, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds pretty cool." And so that same day, we are like, "Okay, we're deciding on it." And so we're like, "Let's check YouTube, let's check Spotify, let's check all these places. Has anybody named us yet?" We're like, "Nope, nobody's named it yet, so we're gonna take it." So we did. And yeah, so that was just kind of a random thing because I don't think for him, I think I think he's kind of the naming thing is difficult for him as well. Ah, yeah. So, but there are people at BSS Studio that change their name all the time, and they come up with cool ones. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I don't know. I don't understand how you can possibly do that because it just blows my mind. Masterlay says, well, the nickname Masterlay came when I was around the age of 10 and needed a name for online games. First, I went with Joker because it sounded like such a fun word to use. Then it was taken everywhere. So I came up with two things I like the most. Master came from Master Chief, the character, and Lay probably somehow came from Leo, my first name. Oh, there you go. Cool. So, and your first name, Leonard, came from Grandpa Leon. Nice. So yeah, it's always fun to dig into the history of naming things, and yeah, like whatever you did to come up with your name, there's something special about that. And like Joe was saying, there's always a story behind it, which is really cool. And to dig into those stories can be fun sometimes. Like people are like, okay, how did you come up with that name? And I love that there's been this whole discussion on BSS about CDVNL and like, how'd you come up with it? That's how it started. And then everybody was like, oh, there's no meaning behind it. Well, let's put some meaning behind it. And so then people have started to, come up with their own interpretations on what the letters mean and all that stuff. And it's been fun to watch. So, at any rate, I've talked for way long enough, and I'm going to turn it back to Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
That's it. That's your cue.
That's my cue.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about it somewhere then.
Go.
Jeff says Jeffrey was just a popular name in the 60s, and my middle name was my dad's name. Brilliant. Brilliant, really.
Yes.
So, I'm still with Raka's definition for your name, too.
Interestingly enough, the thing that finally, because we didn't decide on it immediately, was like, but that was like, hey, that's cool. I like it. I like how it looks when it's written out and everything like that. And then I actually, the very next day, I was sitting in the van with my family, and my wife had all the ads from different stores for that week, and we had parked. I'll never forget this. We were at the dollar store, and she was running in to get a few things, and I was sitting in the van with the kids. And while we were all sitting in there together, I grabbed one of the ads from one of the stores for that week, and I was looking through it. And on sale that week, they had CDs with an imprint of a vinyl record on it. Like, so it was a CD, but it looked like a record. So it was like CD that looked like a vinyl. And I was like, oh, well, must be CDVNL. That's the one. So that was kind of the decider finally, where I was like, okay, that's it.
The Decider.
That was the decider. Was an ad from somewhere. I don't even remember where it was from.
Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying Jeff's band names. But yeah, so when we talk about names, I go back a lot. If you haven't seen it somehow, I highly recommend it. There's an anime movie called Your Name. It's Kimi no Nawa, it's the Japanese. Um, it's a fantastic film. It's pretty good. It's an adventure, and it's an interesting one at that, with a lot of twists and turns. But basically, it brings up the question of what is in a name, and what is how important names are for identifying someone, um, and telling you about that someone. So, um, I will go through. I think I have 3 different screen names, and most of them are pretty easy to go through. Originally, my screen names were Goldbear33 was always my screen name, and that was because it was a misspelling on the nickname of Jack Nicklaus, my favorite golfer, who was nicknamed the Golden Bear, and I just dropped the en and added my favorite number 3 twice.
Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Oh, nice.
So no, Gold Bear 33. So that was one I used for a long time, especially because I didn't feel like changing anything and didn't mind. Um, as I got here to, I started a Twitter actually. We'll go on to that one. It's Joe's pun of the day, and that one was easy to come up with because my name is Joe. I really like puns, and I would post them daily when I started the Twitter.
So
So
it's very, very what's the word? Useful. A useful name of
yeah, sometimes it's not very elaborate, but that's great anyway. So that's those two. Then my two more recent ones are the slightly above average Joe. Again, my name is in there in case you wonder where I came up with part of it. And then the second portion was um, slightly above average when I got measured for golf clubs because I was a golf pro at the time,
Mhm.
and I was so close to just the stock average of every kind of thing. They were when we were talking about fitting, they're like, you are literally the most stock standard golfer ever. Like you could buy anything out of the box and you'd be good because you were like half an inch tall. You know,
Yeah, you are half an inch tall
yeah
after all.
your hands are like half an inch wider than average. Like everything was slightly above the average for, and so that's where I came up with it was slightly above average Joe because everything was just oh here's what the average is. You're just like a tiny bit above that. I was like oh that sounds like fun. So that's where I came up with that name. And then more recently, if you've seen me around on Twitch or Steam, I go by the count. One because it's cool.
Mhm. Ha
One,
ha.
ha ha. Everyone knows the count from Sesame Street, and if you don't, you can just Google it. It's fantastic. But two, I'm an accountant, so count accountant. It it kind of fit.
It does.
I do counting, so
All
that's
day
where
long.
that's where that name came from. Um, so all that to say, like as you look at the names that you go by, um, they can have many many meanings. One of the things I would recommend for people who are looking at have their screen names where they came from, stick with them for a while.
Mhm.
Stay with the name. Your actual name you stuck with for life ish, unless you change it. But part of what your name is to help people identify you. Is to identify, oh, anyone can say, oh, that's the count, or you know, that's Joe. But it's for them to be able to say, that's Joe. That's the person who does accounting, who's a golf pro, who's done all of these things. Like their entire persona of you ends up wrapped into your name. And so when you change your name, you fundamentally alter how people are looking at you. You fundamentally change the basis they have for this is this person who does these things.
Mm.
And as much as it can be difficult, you can change people's perception. Like let's say you actually had a bad perception that you didn't want. You can still change people's perception of you without changing your name. And that has an even bigger story to tell than if you were to just change your name and try and become another person.
Mm.
Because your past is linked to the name of who you were. And I say this in an instance because there's lots of people whose names I don't know. If you change your name online, you create a new account, people don't know who you are anymore. They have to generally assume that you're not the same person that was this person. So I highly recommend, if you can, to be yourself, to pick a name that fits you, that suits you, that you enjoy, and stick with it. So, yeah,
Yep.
that's all I got.
That's one of the things that I've noticed, because when I picked the name CDVNL and we just started, rolling with it, it's been a couple of years now that, that's kind of been the name. And so because I have those 5 letters attached to me, I usually put on a lot of the different areas, I put my first name on there as well. So, so people know my name is Joe. Um, but even still, like, because I was on Don't Worry Wednesday, and because, it says CDVNL in the corner, and also, like, I'm in the chat as CDVNL, people who are on that show, they just know my name is Joe. So they just call me Joe, no matter what. Even though they see the name CDVNL on the screen, they'd still call me Joe, which is great because that was the whole point. The whole point was for me to have a unique identifier. Because if I just start showing up as Joe on different stuff, I mean, like, you got different Joes all over the place. Which Joe is it? And at our staff
Me.
meetings, we have that conundrum from time to time. People be like, "So Joe," and then me and Joe both, "Hmm."
Not you, the other
So
one.
which Joe we talking
That's the
about?
copy. That's the
Yep.
default answer, and then we're like, oh, yeah, that one.
Right. Jeff Jeff is, Jeff does it the best, I think, because he goes, "I'm Joe, and Joe Bohan is Joseph." And so and Jeff's kinda, like, in charge of our meetings in a lot of ways, and he'll be like, "Oh, yeah, no, last night he said it the best." He's like, "Yeah, we're like, 'So, Joe, blah, 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 blah,' and then, what was it you who asked? We were doing assignments for the week or something, and you
Yeah.
were like, 'So, which Joe is this?' He's like," and Jeff was like, "Oh, yeah, no, you're Joseph to
Yep.
me."
I've been renamed by Jeff. But
Yep.
I worked. The last time I worked as golf pro. I guess it wasn't the last time, but when I was out in California working as a golf pro, I worked with another Joe, and they're like, "You are now officially Joey. Congratulations," because that fit on your name tag. So it happens a lot. I'm always the second one in, especially in this instance, alphabetically. Second Joe.
Yeah. Hey, that works.
Yeah.
Whatever they gotta do, like, I had a job once where there was another Joe who had been there for years and years and was a manager and all this kinda stuff, right? And then I
Mhm.
show up, and then so they called me Nancy, and I was like, "Great."
Oh, okay.
I was like, "How about that? Okay, I'm Nancy." So I guess I could have done that for my screen name too. That would have been good. Um, Raka, wow, you have gotten numbers for names.
Child number
Joe,
one.
Joe's on top of that. He's like, "Hey, man, numbers. Why don't we just name people numbers? That'd be the best thing."
We,
Oh,
we do on your tax return.
cute, darling, very nice, lovable, and handsome. That's so nice. Where's the H come from, though? But at any rate, no, the thing I was getting at was because I have CDVNL attached, anytime I show up on somebody's Twitch stream or anytime I show up, they know who I am. They know it's me, right? The person they know from wherever, right? And so that was the whole idea. When I went anywhere online, I wanted people to know that it was me showing up, and so then they would know, like, we could, any history we had would automatically just come along with that. So really, in your name, like Joe was saying, it's kind of like your assigned bit, so people can remember the history you have, and they then know how to work along with you, and then you can always be building upon that history that you've had, and it goes along with your name, and it's attached to you, and it really can be a great thing. Now, like Joe was saying, if you need to change it because there's some kind of negative stuff attached to your name, you know, I have known people who have had to do that too. And it can at at that point you get to start over. And that can be kind of fun too. So at any rate, what's in a name? All kinds of things get wrapped up into that. So as you pick it, most important thing, like Joe was saying, it's a unique identifier. I want that picture. I didn't screenshot it. I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna rewatch this video, screenshot that, and put it's gonna be great. Um, so at any rate, yeah, that's our discussion on names. Well, welcome, Matthias. Oh, hold on. Like, hey, we got a new person. Oh, wrong account. Sorry. Hey, there you are, Swoop. Welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah, we were just talking about what's in a name, so names, multiple. Good work.
Yep.
You're right on topic. That's
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, Jeff. If you scroll up through the chat, you see Jeff's had a whole bunch of different names attached to him as well. It can be kind of fun, But at any
definitely.
rate, my whole train of thought. I'll just do that a few times. But so this whole week we've been talking about serving. Next week we are going to talk about sacrifice, which is taking serving to a whole new level.
Hmm.
Yes. So we should be sure and tune in for that. I will remember this week to put all those in the show schedule. So then we can have that unique identifier in there. Ha, I knew that would get static. He's actually going to be one of my resources on all the research that we do for these topics, because that gentleman understands the dynamics and mechanics of sacrifice better than most people that I know. It's it's amazing. So like it's going to be a fun week. Right, Joe?
It's gonna be a fun week. I didn't know we were supposed to be studying for these things. Dude. Don't let anyone know. Oh shoot, I'm on the live stream.
Wow. Raka said
I don't know that you can read aloud the entire book of Leviticus in only an hour. We would be reading very fast. but Ryan believes us, so okay, I guess we're
he
going
says,
for
you
it.
can do it. Read the entire book of Leviticus. That would be a very, very I don't know. It would be interesting to read the book of the Bible that most people, when they're reading through the Bible, that's the book they stop reading in. Like people who make a commitment, they're like, I'm going to read this whole book from start to finish. And they get Genesis done. And then they get Exodus done. And then they get to Leviticus and they quit.
Is that the one with the genealogies? I mean, we are talking about names.
I
There's
think
that
Numbers is
Numbers,
the ones with the genealogies. Leviticus is like the old
the
law.
law. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Static, you're right. It is super good. It does kind of go over people's heads, and there's a lot of stuff that's unique to the time and the culture. But yeah, it is when you dig into it, it's very, very interesting and intriguing. But I agree, it takes a little bit of study to go along with it. Um, so reading it out loud for an episode, hey, we'll consider it.
Put it in our topics. Joe,
Yeah,
share the
put it
link.
in there. Put it on there.
I'm
Let me
just
get to
kidding.
the
The
link
link's in
again.
the description. You can
It
go
is.
there.
You know what? It's going to be in the chat here too.
Okay. Feel
Boom.
free. Again, like we're up for pretty much anything. If we come to the point where we're like, hey, this is going to be more than we could possibly do in an episode, that's going to be a limiting factor on
Mm-hmm.
what we can do. There are time constraints. We said we would discuss anything, and we could discuss Leviticus, but we can't probably read the entire thing. Only
We could record it and speed it up and make it fit in an hour.
That would be hilarious. Get like some chipmunk voices to go with it.
Yes. As requested, we're
We're
reading the entire book of Leviticus in this episode, and we'll be like, okay, so that's one where we're going to be on vacation, where we have to do a pre-recorded show or something, you know. That might be fun. So, anyway, come back next week where we talk about sacrifice. It's going to be a great time. In the meantime, you can go to bss.studio and hang out there. You can go to the Twitch streams over the weekend. Oh, let me get the links. I got to get the link. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm so
Twitch
off track.
streams are good. They're a fun place where you can hang out, play around with other people, make fun of the streamers. Just kidding. Don't make fun of the streamers. But enjoy this stream. There's usually lots of fun games and activities for people to be able to participate in the chat, but also to watch and enjoy what Static and Jesse are doing.
Mhm.
And it's a vast assortment. So maybe you don't think you like it one day, go on back. Who knows what they're going to be doing the next day? So
Right. Either way, you can have fun in the chat because you can gamble your potards. That's always fun.
Jesse said, yes, we support gambling in the
Only of the potards,
only of the
not of
potards.
actual money. Yes.
Just kidding. But because it's not really I think the game mechanic is actually you end up winning more than you losing, which is generally not gambling.
Right. Well, yeah, because you get free potards.
Yeah. So
Now, last time I played, or last time I was there in the chat with them, there was like, I was losing like the whole time.
oof.
It's ridiculous. It was like, could not even, I couldn't win anything that stream. So it happens. But then there have been other streams where I was winning. It was great. But last time, nope, not the case. So
I'm sure that Jesse just actually controls the. You're at the whim of Jesse for your potart winnings.
Probably that's true. It's all up to him. So, but at any rate, that's that. Go to Twitch over the weekend. They'll be streaming. Come back to this channel to subscribe. Hit the bell. We'll be on tonight for Don't Fret Friday, Ryan and I, and that's going to be a good time. And then yes, make sure you come back next week where we talk about sacrifice, and we're gonna dig deeply into different aspects of what that means for all of us. So it's gonna be fun. We thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us in the chat. You guys look amazing. And to all you who are watching this afterwards, we thank you so much for being here. And you can come and join us if you get up early enough or stay up late enough, whichever it is for you. Around at 7 a.m. ish.
Eastern Standard Time.
Monday through Friday. We're going to keep it going from now until the end of time. Right?
I'm out. Just kidding.
You'll be getting up early every day for the rest of your life.
No. Oh no. The rest of my life. And then some. He said forever.
He's like, yeah, the end of my life is going to be soon if I keep this schedule up, actually.
Joe and I will be from our nursing homes or whatever. It's like, the
nurse. nurses.
What is it? Why is he just yelling at that TV?
Yes. So for our future nurses' sake and their entertainment, we're going to keep this show going. But at any rate, it's great to see you guys here. Go to bss.studio, click subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff. And we will see you back here on Monday. We'll see you tonight on Don't Fret Friday.
Ooh, don't
Either
forget
or.
Friday. Be
Yeah,
there.
come on back. It's going to be a good time. So we'll see you guys next time.